Unlike Fred VanVleet, Jontay Porter has been given a lifetime ban by the NBA for betting on himself. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Raptors NBA podcast. We are your hosts, Alex Jobin and Andy Redding. We have a lot to get to today. The playoffs are almost here. The play-in tournament is happening. Last night, there was some amazing play-in. There was some amazing play-in action. But just before we hopped on this podcast, news broke that Jontay Porter of the Toronto Raptors has been given a lifetime ban for violating the league's gambling rules. It was a joke off the top. Apparently, he didn't actually bet on himself, which there's no way that that's true. He definitely did. But that's what we're going to start off with. Andy, what are your thoughts on the kid just betting on himself?
First off, you're right. Freddie better be. He's probably scared right now. He's vocally said he's betting on himself. He must be. He's next. It sucks. John, he's stupid. He's plain stupid. He thought he could beat the system. He thought things wouldn't get flagged. Guys betting on Jontay Porter unders in games. Of course it's going to get flagged. Wake up, Jontay. Just got greedy. And it made me think, is this the cap to the worst season in franchise history? Technically, by record, it's not, but by events, you trade away all your stars, guy gets banned for gambling, a bunch of injuries. You have guys you've never heard of starting games at the end of the year.
Never heard of.
Going on like 15-game losing streaks.
You know, I do have to say, by all accounts, it seems like it could be one of the worst seasons in Raptors history. Like you said, obviously not from a record standpoint, but I'm just kind of nervous that we have nothing to be excited about. And this just adds the cherry on the cake or pie or whatever I'm trying to say here. But like, here, I want to dive into the story a little bit because it said that Jontay Porter owned and operated a VIP account at FanDuel in Colorado that wagered millions of dollars in total from 2021 to 2023. Now, again, there are a bunch of different sources saying different things, so we don't actually know exactly what happened. The NBA has put out a statement saying that he didn't bet on himself, but does that mean that he didn't send his account to his friends to bet on himself, which is more than likely what happened? Okay, but he was doing this while he was in the G League, coming in and out of the G League, and Porter allegedly placed over 1,000 bets on the sports book. And there was a source that was quoted saying he was firing all of the time, which I found actually hilarious. Like he was just putting up shots, you know? Shooter.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah, Klay Thompson from last night, which we'll get into in a second. But you're right, man. I just think it's so stupid to do. Like the guy was getting minutes in the NBA. Yeah, the Raptors were not a good team last year, but he could have made it. He could have probably been like a deep bench guy on a roster, even if it wasn't on the Raptors. Like he could have stayed in the league. He could have stuck around. He could hit a couple threes. Like he was, a good pick and roll player. It seemed like he just kind of gave that up, and because he just wouldn't stop betting on himself. But then I had another question. What if this is just like an actual problem that he has? You know? Like, what if he actually has a gambling addiction or something like that? Where, again, it wasn't him doing it himself, but he obviously was in some sort of... Otherwise, he wouldn't have been banned from the NBA for life. So they can phrase it in whatever way they want, but ultimately he did place bets through other people on himself and on his lines.
If you have a gambling addiction, bet on any other sport. Go bet on hockey, baseball, football, golf. Bet on anything. You can't blame the addiction here.
Or bet your overs, bet your overs on yourself because we talked about this before. Yeah, like give yourself some respect. Porter's over unders the day that on DraftKings when he was basically caught were 5.5 points, 4.5 boards, and 1.5 assists, and 0.5 3-pointers, giving bettors options to wage him to attain more on the under. So basically everybody just hammered the under, everybody who we told about this. And he left in that game early on. Same thing with another game afterwards with ailments both times. So this guy he bet under on himself, which was, I don't know. I feel like that's so embarrassing, man. His
I think I read that one of his friends or someone placed a large under bet, like 80,000 bucks on his unders, and I think the bet got frozen, rightfully so. The sports books, they are sharp. They're not going to let these crazy bets fly. Of course, someone's going to flag this.
okay, this is actually insane. I just read this too. During this time, Porter operated a Discord account that provided stocks, crypto, and occasionally gambling advice for a monthly subscription of $49.99. What is going on? Like, stuff just keeps coming out about this guy. And here's my question, Andy.
What's your question?
Do you think he gambled or helped someone else gamble about his brother, Michael Porter Jr.?
He would have inside info, wouldn't he?
100% he would have. Do you think Michael Porter Jr. is getting investigated right now? I think so.
Probably. You'd hope.
He won the championship last year. Like, who knows what kind of lines he could have given up or, assisted with. I don't know. This whole thing is just a mess. You're right. Capped off a horrendous Raptor season with a horrendous story. One of these guys betting. Like, I can't even believe this is actually a thing. I wish it didn't happen on the Raptors. I wish it happened on some other team.
It sucks making fun of a Raptors player that we actually liked.
We liked him. Remember? We even posted a video. Somebody can look this up on our Instagram. We posted a video of his first bucket in the league. I think his first rebound in the league.
First start when he got introduced for the first time. We were
Yeah.
so
God, this guy just had to go bet hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars over the years over that. 1,000 bets over a 2-year period is quite a lot. Like there are 365 days in a year,
like 3 day.
Yeah, just a quick 3 day, 3 a day bet. That's insane. Okay, should we move on from the story? It's kind of just bothering me thinking
One
about
more
this.
thing.
Yeah.
Just thinking it can't get worse for the Raptors this year. It can. They could not keep their first round pick, and that would be capping off
Okay, so can you explain?
well, there's a draft lottery, and if a team goes over the Raptors and wins the lottery, that bumps the Raptors down to seventh, and the Raptors pick is only top six protected.
Okay, but how does that like what does that mean if a team goes seventh or gets bumped up? Like as long as the Raptors don't we have a worse enough record to get into that top six?
But if the team that is like seventh, eighth, or ninth wins the draft lottery, they move up ahead of the Raptors, bumping the Raptors down to seventh. Then they don't pick their first round pick. So
Okay, well,
the season can get worse. This whole season could be for nothing. Could be for not a draft pick.
could be for absolutely nothing. Okay, let's move on.
It's a dreary day outside, and it's a dreary day in Raptors land.
Dreary day in Raptors land. Last night, I watched both of the playing games. Lakers versus Pelicans and Warriors versus the Kings. Okay.
Good
First,
night.
let's touch on LeBron James and the Lakers beating the Pelicans and whatever happened to Zion there in the last couple minutes. Like, I don't even know. Have those reports come out?
Hamstring injury. No one really knows if he's going to play in the next game.
God, that guy, he's just so good. He was playing so well. He dropped
40
40 and 11.
Yeah.
Like 40 and 11, and then he goes out. And the reason I knew it was like something really serious is because there was only a few minutes left in the game, and the game was either tied or they were down slightly. And you don't
Yeah.
leave the game with a couple minutes left and you have 40 points in the game unless something's actually wrong with you. So I highly doubt that this guy's going to be coming back for this next playing game, which is really devastating for the Pelicans. Like I feel like they were playing so well. They could have easily beat LA yesterday, and then they just didn't. LeBron had a good game. AD had a great game. It was just, I feel like overall, the play-in tournament has been really good so far with these two games, but that matchup was an amazing matchup. What'd you think of the game?
I'm with you. It's a shame. I think the story is the Pelicans lost. Like the Zion injury was sucked, really sucked, and Brandon Ingram was unplayable towards the end. He wasn't on the court in the last few minutes.
What happened what happened with that?
I guess he's just back from injury recently and is not playing well. Bold coaching decision to not have him on the court.
That's a ridiculous coaching decision. If I was him, I wouldn't want to be on the team next year. Like that's insane that he was sitting for the most of the fourth quarter, it seemed like.
He had a terrible game before that. Like,
okay, he had
give the coach some credit.
11 points, 4 assists, 4 boards in 25 minutes. Yeah, like, but he was hot in the first like couple minutes of the first quarter. He went off. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I just thought that that game was great. There's no way I thought the Pelicans were going to beat the Lakers. The Pelicans still have a shot because they will be playing Sacramento for that eighth
Listen,
seed.
the Pelicans should have beat the Lakers. I don't. The Pelicans are the
Why?
better.
Why?
They
Tell
had
me.
them on
Tell
the
me
road.
why.
Why? Because they were up. They were winning. Zion gets injured. Their other star player Ingram is not having even a half decent game. Either of those things don't happen. Pelicans are in. Lakers are playing on Friday night and not making the actual playoffs.
Okay, but you can't
The
say
Lakers
it's
got so lucky. The
you
Lakers should
can't
not be in the playoffs.
Andy, you can't be like they should have made the playoffs if Brandon Ingram was playing better. Like, what do you mean? That's not
The
something that's not
Lakers,
a good argument to see
the
why someone's in the
Lakers got
playoffs.
lucky.
No, the Lakers have proven stars: LeBron James, AD to just 20. What do you go? 20 and 15. Um,
Lakers got lucky.
I don't think Lakers got lucky. I think when you face a playoff proven team that won a championship a few years ago, like you're gonna have a tough time beating them. Like Larry Nance Jr. had a pretty good game. It seemed like whatever, 10 points, 10 boards. Obviously Zion went for 40. Who else? Brandon Ingram 11. Herb Jones was actually amazing on the floor. Played really good defense. Trey Murphy. I've been talking about Trey Murphy for the last like 3-4 years since he was a rookie. Jose Alvarado, they got a little chippy. Look, I don't know. I just don't think this roster is better than the Lakers roster. I'm sorry. D'Angelo Russell dropped 21. Like Austin Reeves was playing a pretty shitty game in the beginning, and then he went off. LeBron 23. What is it? 23, 9 and 9.
Fully
Hachimura
healthy.
had a decent game. I don't know. I just don't think when you come up against a playoff proven team that's like that has size like that, if you're the Pelicans, that you're gonna win the majority of those games. You're not.
Fully healthy. They run the Lakers out of the gym last night. They
No.
are they're deeper by 4 guys on the bench. They are. I'm sorry. They're better. You'll see in the next round. Lakers are gonna. We can talk about this later, but the Lakers are not a playoff team. They're gonna get blown out of the playoffs.
Okay. Well, last year we thought the same thing, but all four of the games are close. They did get swept, but all four of the games against Denver were close. Okay. But next game that was on the docket was Golden State versus Sacramento. Man, I was 100% sure Golden State was going to run Sacktown out of the gym. Sacramento missing Malik Monk, missing Herter. They're two of their, offensive weapons that they just didn't have. And honestly, the Warriors just looked horrendous. They looked overmatched, they looked tired, and they looked old, which I hate saying. I hate saying that Steph Curry looked old, you know? And they lost. Clay went 0 for 10. What did he go for? 0 for
0 for 10. 0 for 6 from 3, I think. 0 for 10 overall. Yeah, they're old. They're washed.
Steph was 8 for 16 as well.
I absolutely hate when we had a previous argument and I was right, but I got to tell you, I told you so. Don't sleep on the Sacramento Kings. And Golden State, you were overvaluing the whole year. They just didn't have it this year. They're old.
Maybe I was. Maybe I was. I don't know. Like it seemed like Clay was coming back his last 10, 15 games. He was back in the starting lineup the last 10 games of the regular season. He's playing really well. He had a couple monster games over that span. And then for some reason he dropped off a cliff. Like, and his shots were like barely missing all game. He went 0 for 10, but all game he was barely missing shots.
Is that the best 0 for 10 you've ever seen?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I know that sounds funny, but like I think it might be the best over 10 I've ever seen. Like he was going slightly long or slightly short. It wasn't like way off on every shot. Draymond Green had 12 points, 12 points, 6 assists, just 3 boards. Like what kind of a line is that for Draymond? Like
It's
he
tough.
puts up, did you see the night before or 2 nights before? He put up a 0 point double double. So
That's
points,
Draymond.
assists, and rebounds, no points. And then Steph had a tough game. So it's only 22. Like he's been averaging 30 against this team. I
You're
don't
gonna
know.
get
Jonathan Kuminga kind of sucked too. It was just horrible all around.
did you see at the end of the game Clay kind of like soaking it all in as he walked off the court?
Yeah.
Do you think this is the end of the Golden State team as we know it?
I'm going to go ahead and say absolutely not. There's
No.
no way. No, there's no way that they're going to trade Clay or sorry, let him sign somewhere else because here's the thing. Clay is still one of the best shooters in the league. Okay. Unless somebody comes off the top rope and gives him a ridiculous contract, which I could see another team doing that needs a shooter. They're gonna try to keep him. They're gonna try to keep this team intact.
Will he take a discount?
I think he
That's
would, yeah.
I think that's the big thing. Does he want to be there?
I think he would, yeah. I think all three of these guys are probably gonna try to end their careers on the Warriors. Which,
Takes a discount.
yeah, if he takes it, I think he will. I think he will take a discount because, like, I don't know. I feel like those guys have all gone through so much together that there's no way he's leaving to go on some other team unless he gets like aggressively disrespected by the Warriors. But then, man, you look at all of these like documentaries that are pulling up lately, like even that MJ doc, and they talk a little bit about Scottie Pippen's situation and like how he left and or how he signed for way less money, all that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of players that leave these sorts of like incredible dynasty situations end up regretting it in the end, to make a bit
Yeah.
more money beforehand. Like, how much more money is he really going to get from someone else? Although there have been teams that say they're going to throw the money at him. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they're sticking together or no?
If he takes a hometown discount, I don't, I don't know. Is there a point to stick together? They're not. They were 10th best in the West this year. They're not even close to contention anymore.
I feel
They
like
got to do something.
they all had weird seasons though. Like Clay had the worst season of his career, right?
And Clay's going to be a year older next year. You got to think he's going to have his next worst season of the year of his
How
career.
how many like Andrew Wiggins missed like the majority of the year, right? Like how many games did he play last year? He probably missed half the regular season. Draymond had all of his nonsense. How many games did Draymond? I feel like this was a really weird season. Draymond got suspended. You know, Andrew Wiggins was missing a bunch of time. Curry was the only one who was like dominant on this team, and Clay had his worst season ever. So I don't know. I feel like Chris Paul hasn't really helped them much. He's probably going to get shipped off. Kaminga's going to grow another year. I don't know. Like if they want to compete, they have to add something else. Like you're right. They're just going to be mediocre. They're going to be scratching the surface of the play-in or maybe not making the playoffs if they keep their roster the same way. So I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know what they're going to do from here. Tough situation over there.
They've never been shy to make a move, though. I could see it happening.
Andy,
Something.
last night I was watching this game and I was like legitimately getting sad. Because I was like, I just can't believe. And he just looked so tired at certain points of the game. He looked exhausted. He's just
Need
like
some
I don't know,
help.
his face looked sad. Like he was just sad. There was a play where Draymond went for a rebound. I don't know if you remember this. He went for a board and he like stepped out of bounds, but it would have been their ball anyways if he just let the ball go out of bounds. But
Mhm.
him going for I was like, is he chasing stats? I don't know. And then he stepped out of bounds and I just saw, Steph's face and he was just, what is this guy doing? What is happening with this team? I don't know. I don't know. It's difficult to say, but that's a really, really awkward situation.
Final question on the West plan. Who do you have winning the next game between Sacramento and New Orleans?
I think with the way that Sacktown's playing and the way that they played last night, especially if Zion's injured and he can't play on Friday, I think it has to be Sacramento. No,
No one's stopping Sabonis.
there's no way. Also, like, does Sabonis have the biggest hands in the league? Because every time he grabs the ball, it literally looks like a softball in his hand. Do you ever notice that? He like waves the ball around like he's about to throw it. And he's like, it seems like I don't know, Sabonis is dominant, but I think that their entire team, including Keegan Murray, was the reason they won. Keegan was disgusting. I would have way rather traded for Keegan Murray, than who we got. I actually, you know what? I don't want to. Let's not.
I,
Let's not
I don't
get
think
into
Keegan
that.
was on the table. I don't think they were ever actually going to give it to the Raptors.
You don't think so? Ever?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. What do you
Um,
think? You think the same thing, Sacktown?
yeah, especially with Zion's possible injury and
Yeah.
Ingram not being the dude he is.
And
Yeah,
hamstrings are tough, man. Like if you have a hamstring injury, it's really tough to just walk around, let alone
I wouldn't know. I've never injured my hamstring because I have immaculate legs.
or you just don't play high level anything. So
Or I just sit down for a living.
you sit down for a living. Well, I kind of do too. I don't know. Okay, the East playing. So
Starts
we have
tonight.
starts tonight. Heat versus the Sixers. I'm like really interested in this playing. It's gonna be ridiculous. Heat versus Sixers, and then Hawks versus the Bulls. So the winner of the Heat and Sixers gets into the seventh seed. The winner of the Hawks and Bulls plays the loser of the first game to get into the eighth seed. What do you think? Heat, Sixers, Joel Embiid's back. He's been tearing it up. The Sixers have had a really good stretch of wins, but then you never know with those zombie Heat.
I've been telling you all year, watch out for the Sixers in the playoffs. You slept on him. You didn't think Embiid would be ready. He is ready. This is the easiest pick of the year. They will win tonight, and they're going to give the Knicks a run for the money in the first round.
Okay, so you're saying Sixers beat the Heat. What about Hawks Bulls?
Okay, I have a question for you about this one. Does it even matter?
Hawks Bulls?
Like whoever wins this is probably going to lose against either the Heat or the Sixers, right? And if they do win that game, they're going to get swept in the first round by the Celtics. This is the most meaningless game. I'll watch it.
I understand what you're saying, but the Bulls have had some randomly great wins this year. So I don't know. Like, I feel like for some reason, I have a feeling that the Bulls are going to take this. They're going to beat the Hawks. Hawks are going to be out. We should jump cut right after this, where the Hawks just kill the Bulls tonight. But of course, no, you're right. I agree with you. There's no way that this team is doing anything from the eighth seed. They're not coming close to touching the Celtics. This doesn't really matter. But for the sake of things, I think it's going to be like for entertainment purposes, I feel like this is going to be a good game. Hawks have some guys. I feel like DeMar's going to be going off. I don't know. So it'll be a fun watch. But I'm way more interested in that Heat 76ers series that's happening tonight, because I feel like I still think you're a little high on the Sixers right now, especially with Joel Embiid just coming back from injury. Like, I know he's coming back, but he still looks
legs.
he looks sluggish, man. He looks like he's gained a bunch of weight.
What are you talking? He looks lean. He looks leaner than before. He looks like he's lost weight.
He doesn't look leaner than before. Stop.
He looks like he's lost weight.
Okay, would you not agree that he looks sluggish?
I think he looks leaner than he did before his injury.
Okay. What about sluggishness?
No, he looks good.
I don't think he looks as good as he did before his injury. I don't even think it's close. So Bam Adebayo is gonna have a decent series. I feel like Jimmy Butler's gonna come back. I don't know. You're right. This is a tough one. You never know against the Heat. For me, I feel like it's gonna be more of a battle than you seem to think it'll be. But my question is,
what's your question?
What if the Heat get into the playoffs, let's say they're eighth, and they play the Celtics in the 1-8.
That can be a series.
Because we all know what the Heat have done with the Celtics over the last few years here. It seems like the Celtics are just scared of the Heat.
That seems like a very likely series to happen too.
There's no chance the Heat are beating the Celtics. There's no chance. 0%. And then afterwards on the Friday,
0%?
There's no way. Yeah, 0%. I'll bet $1,000 on Celtics over the Heat right now, without even absolutely zero chance that they're beating
Jontay Porter. Just betting.
Yeah, Jontay Porter just has so much money on this game. Okay, let's stay on the east side of things.
Yeah.
So we're saying that it's going to be a Miami Celtics matchup. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. Do you agree?
I agree. Yeah, okay. I agree. I think it's going to be like everyone's going to be nervous at first, but then the Celtics they're just way too good. Their point differential this year is like the best since 2015 or 2005 or 2006 or something like that. Like, they've been absolutely dominant this year when they're actually playing. And then, so we're saying New York is going to play Philly.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. If Philly wins tonight, yeah.
If Philly wins tonight, Philadelphia, New York.
Who wins that series?
Man.
That's a juicy series.
If Julius Randle was on this team and wasn't injured, I would go with New York. But at this point, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, Mitchell Robinson has been playing pretty well too, so it's not like they've had the biggest drop off from Julius Randle. if OG Anunoby's healthy, he plays lockdown defense on a couple guys there on Tobias. Like, I don't know.
Answer the question, Alex.
I'm trying to talk it out with you here. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking it's going to be an upset. Sixers are going to beat New York. I understand that.
I don't even know betting lines. I don't even know if the Knicks will actually be favorites. Are we sure they'll be betting favorites?
You know what? I'm going to go Knicks on this one.
Do you think the Knicks will be betting favorites in the series?
I think it'll be like an even betting series.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it'll be pretty close to even because again, like I'm just not I don't trust Joel Embiid. I feel
But you
like
trust Jason Tatum? You trust Jalen Brown?
well, I'm talking about from like just like strictly from an injury perspective.
Oh, you think? Oh, well,
So I'm thinking like, if he pulls something, if he does something, I think he's like this is a lot to ask of a guy to just come back and pretty much just hop into a playoff run like this, and especially having games every 2 nights, like that'll be very difficult. And especially they're probably going to put a big load on him too with that first series. The Knicks are hard to play, man. The Knicks are physical. They have a bunch of gritty guys.
and he's gonna be dropping 40 and 20 every other game.
Probably, but what if he's the only one who's dropping anything?
Tyrese Maxey's nice. Don't sleep on him.
Nobody's sleeping on Tyrese Maxey, but I don't think he's. Who would you take right now, Tyrese Maxey or Jalen Brunson?
Jalen Brunson. Yeah,
Boom. So there you go. So Jalen Brunson over Tyrese Maxey. We're gonna go OG over Tobias Harris.
sure. But you're neglecting that the Sixers have the best player in the series, a guy who is the reigning MVP.
Are we sure he's the best player in the series right now after his injury? Are we 100?
Yes,
Are
he
you?
looks great. He looks great.
Look, I've watched a bunch of Joel's games. It seems like he's not really trying that hard even. I don't know. Like I understand what you're saying, but I can't tell if that's because he's like trying to ease back into it or he's just not at 100%. And I don't think he can be at 100% after something like that. I don't know. Whatever. So you're saying that Philly's going to beat New York.
Yeah, but I think it'll be nice. 6 game series. It'll be nice. It'll be great.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And you can say no.
What?
Can we go to either New York or Philly for a game? I'm asking you on the pod right now.
Not well, we got to see if it works with our work schedules, but I'm open to it.
You're open to it. Okay. All right, sweet. MSG. MSG. That will be rocking, Andy. That'll be rocking. I think I'll say this right now. If we go to MSG for a playoff game in this sort of environment with what's happening in New York right now with this team, I can almost guarantee you like we'll become actual Knicks fans. Like I promise I feel like it'll be my second favorite team in the league. What do you think?
I have a soft spot for him too. I want to see him do well.
Okay, so why don't we maybe think about that? Maybe think about that.
We'll table it.
Okay, third matchup. It's going to be Milwaukee versus Indiana, right?
Yeah. Interesting series.
Uh, I don't know. Milwaukee looks old and slow right now. They just do. They look really bad. So I don't know. I still don't see them losing to the Pacers. You know what's funny, man? Ever since Siakam's off of the Raptors, I don't think about him anymore. Like, not that I don't think about, like, it's not like I'm thinking about Siakam every day anyways, but I'm saying he's not kind of showing up in people's feeds. His game isn't like a highlight oriented game. So I feel like he just does his work and goes home. Sometimes you hear about him if he has a massive game, but most of the time you don't. So it's like people kind of overlook Pascal. Even with that being said, I don't think that they're going to come close to beating Milwaukee. What's your thought?
Bucks. I think it's a 7 game series. Bucks and 7. Pascal is a great secondary scorer on team. We saw that when the Raptors won a championship. That's what he is on the Pacers. Bucks look not themselves. They haven't all season.
Slow and old.
I think it could be a 7 game series. I don't think either of these two teams is doing any damage after.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll probably lose the next round. But yeah.
Like Tyrese Halliburton dropped off after the All-Star game, but I feel like he's maybe prepping himself. But then again, I think the same thing about Dame. I think is Dame just, saving his energy for the playoffs. So who knows, man? I feel like Dame's gonna have one or two of those Dame games where he goes for 50 and hits just a bunch of shots, game winners. Like I think that he'll step up. So I don't think it'll go 7 personally, but you may be right. You may be right. Okay, so then we have Cleveland Orlando, which is one of my favorite matchups. If not my favorite matchup in this first round of the playoffs. I
Your
know people
favorite
I
matchup?
know. I love this Orlando team. I love all their weapons. I love Paolo. I think, but then again, like Donovan Mitchell can just absolutely go off on Cleveland and just beat them on his own. Garland's there, Mobley, like Josh Allen. Like I feel like Cleveland has a really good lineup to maybe beat Orlando. I don't know. So I'm still kind of up in the air about what I think of the series, but what are your thoughts? Like, who do you think is winning that series?
I will take Cleveland to win the series. I'm not as excited for you as you. I think you look at the TV ratings after the series, it will be the least watched series of any of them, of any of the eight.
Well, probably, yeah, it's Orlando, Cleveland. But I'm just saying, like, from a talent level perspective, I
Talent
think that
level,
I think that both of these teams have just a ridiculous amount of talent on their rosters. Like way,
one all star on each team. I don't think it's that crazy.
I mean, I guess you can put it that way, but I think in general, like, there's just a lot of athleticism. Like, I can't wait to see Paulo just go off.
They're gonna get the Raptors scheduled. They're gonna get like the 12 o'clock noon starts each day.
Definitely. So
No one's gonna watch
Cleveland. So I don't agree with you.
them.
Because so Donovan Mitchell, All Star, Evan Mobley, future All Star,
Is
Jared
he?
Allen for sure. I think he has to be.
Doesn't have to be.
Darius Garland, future All Star.
Mobley can't shoot. You got the wrong guy. You got the wrong guy.
Who Mobley?
He's not a future all star
You got like my low key one of my favorite players in the NBA for no reason at all, George Niang.
because he looks like me.
It was just so
Reminds me of
funny
myself.
when we went to that Philly game where he was talking shit the entire game to the Raptors bench, like nonstop. And that's when I was like, man, I like this guy. He was like you. He acts like you as well, actually. Um, who else do they have here? I don't know. I think they're both pretty stacked rosters.
Stacked.
They are stacked.
Stacked.
Up until like halfway through the season, everyone thought Wagner was like the best rookie in the league, or the best young player in the league. Jalen Suggs is amazing. He's got the he he's got
Amazing.
the most he's got the most passion in the league for the game. Him and Scotty, okay? So there you go. Jalen Suggs, passion. Franz Wagner, great young player. Jonathan Isaac, one of the best defensive players in the league over the last, whatever,
They're
three,
defensively.
4 month stretches.
They're a good team.
We can watch Joe Ingles hobble up and down the floor. That'll be fun. Um, who
They're a
else?
good
Gary
team.
Harris
Not
is
a
still
great
kicking over
team.
there.
You're just naming the roster and you're just saying they're not amazing. They're good players.
They're good players, but I think that a few of them do have all-star potential, which is tough to say about a lot of these other teams, you know? Like literally look at Cleveland's starting lineup. Darius Garland,
All
all-star.
star
Yes.
potential.
Obviously Donovan Mitchell, all-star. Evan Mobley, you're saying he can't shoot. I'm saying he has all-star potential.
No.
Jared Allen. I said Josh Allen earlier, but Jared Allen, like that's a potential defensive player of the year. He's pretty sure he's gotten defensive player of the year um votes before. Who else? Who's there four? Or sorry, who's there three? George Niang. George Niang is now starting. Max Strus, I guess. Anyways, my point is that's a pretty stacked roster. I think it's going to be a really good series. But you think Cleveland's going to win?
They're pretty evenly matched. It'll be a good series, but it'll be the last. If there's some on at the same time, this will be the one I watch the least, for
I'm
sure.
leaning I'm leaning towards Cleveland as well, and I disagree with you. I think I'll be watching this intently.
You'll be watching it over the other series.
Yeah, definitely over the Milwaukee series. That's not even a thought. Not over New York, Philly, or so I guess third out of fourth. So maybe you're right. And then moving on to the West.
To the
Imagine if we
West.
get if we so I think it's like pretty easy for everyone to get the first few correct because like unless there's a massive upset. But
Yeah.
we have OKC versus either New Orleans or Sacramento. So I think it's going to be Sacramento. I think that's an easy one for OKC. Do you agree? You think that's a sweep? OKC sweep Sacramento?
Yes. And I'm high on Sacramento. I just think OKC is really good.
You are high on Sacramento. Okay, Denver Lakers. Andy,
This is
Andrew.
a juicy one.
It's a juicy one, but you think Denver's going to sweep LA?
No, 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 no. Not just a regular sweep, a gentleman's sweep. I think it'll be 4 games to 1. Uh, the Lakers are frauds. They don't belong in the playoffs.
Oh
They
my
backdoor
God.
themselves there.
This is wild that you say the Lakers are frauds. Like, what are you talking about?
They don't belong in the playoffs. You'll see. The Pelicans blew that game for shitty reasons. The Lakers should not be there. And the Nuggets are the cream of the crop.
So I was saying this to you before. I don't know if we were filming when I did, but I honestly thought that if the Lakers ended up in the 8th seed, that they would beat OKC, which would probably happen because OKC can't handle their size. The Lakers are too big. Chet's their only big. AD would literally eat Chet. LeBron's the second best player in that series after Shea. But anyways, okay, that's not the matchup. Denver will beat the Lakers. I would say they're going to get a couple of games on Denver. I think it'll be a 4-2 series, Denver winning. Jokic is too hard to stop. Murray's going to start going off. Hopefully Murray's like 100% healthy because he's been having weird nagging injuries all season. He's been in and out of the lineup. Hopefully Michael Porter Jr. doesn't get arrested like his brother did.
You never know. You never
never
know.
know. I don't know. I love Denver. I think Denver's going to win the championship, but hopefully the Lakers give them a couple of games. I just want longer series. I don't want basketball to be over quite yet.
Well, get to the next couple series. You'll have longer series. This one's not. This one ain't it.
So we have Timberwolves, Suns.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Suns are also. The Suns are like they're kind of like the Warriors, just a little old, not that deep. I don't think they have it. Timberwolves in 5 or 6.
This is where we disagree.
The Suns backdoored themselves into the playoffs.
The Suns are beating the Timberwolves in 6 games. Watch.
The Pelicans are better than the Suns.
Man, oh my God. Some of the stuff you say, like it's ridiculous. They've
The
been
Suns are
saving
not
their
good.
energy, man. I'm telling you, the Suns are a ridiculous team.
No, they aren't.
Have you seen their last few games? They've been absolutely going
I
off.
literally went to one of their last few games in person.
And what'd you think?
Phoenix. The Pelicans were amazing. The Pelicans were the much better team.
Okay, but for the last, what was their record the last like 10 games? Pretty sure the Suns. Hold on, what was that one game where Bradley Beal like went for almost 40? I think, right? Hold
The
on.
one game, and not the other 20 games where Bradley Beal was invisible. Is that what you're talking about?
Okay, my point is that the Suns have enough offensive talent to beat any team in the league, not just Minnesota. But ever since Karl Anthony Towns came back into the mix, Minnesota hasn't really been gelling quite as well. So I think it's quite possible for the Suns to beat this team, and I think they actually will do it.
Because Suns haven't gelled at all since they formed this big three.
Yeah, but they haven't really been together in the last few games. They have been playing pretty well together. And I feel like when they have been on the floor at the same time, they have played pretty well. So, okay, that's where we disagree. I think Durant's still one of the best scorers in the league. Devin Booker is a top 3 scorer in the league as well. They have Bradley Beal was going off. Like their offensive potential is always there. They always have the potential to beat you, to outscore you.
This is what people have been saying all year, and they just haven't done it.
Yeah, but they haven't been fully together all year. Now it's the playoffs. I feel like they're getting a little bit more serious. They've been conserving their energy a little bit, and they're going to come and beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Although I think that's going to be an amazing matchup. I can't wait to see what Ant does. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Ant's going to become a star of these playoffs, like a
Like
household star. He already is, but he's going to become like a dude.
like a super star.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we have here?
One more series.
The 4-5 Clippers Dallas. This is the one I'm really excited to watch as well. This is tough. This is tough.
I think it's a 7-gamer,
You do, hey?
but I also don't think either of these teams is going far in the playoffs.
Wow.
I think they're both. Eh, I'll take the Clippers. Clips
Man,
and Sim.
I'm so confused about this series because on one hand, you have Kawhi Leonard who's like if he looks like, you know, if he looks like the healthy version of Kawhi can literally beat any team on his own. You
Oh
have
yeah.
Paul George that's like 100% proving that he's the smoothest player of all time, I think. Um Obviously you have James Harden who's an absolute dog. But man, Dallas has been playing so well. Luka's in the MVP running, so I think he's like a top 3 MVP candidate. A lot of people are putting them second on their ballots after Jokic. Kyrie's been going off. I don't know, man. They have a lot of stars. I'm gonna go Dallas on this one, I think. I'm gonna go Dallas. They've already beaten the Clippers last year in the playoffs. Was that last year, 2 years ago? I
Okay.
think
Timeout. A month ago on this podcast, you were saying the Clippers are going to go to the Western Conference Final.
I know, but I didn't think that initially they were gonna play Dallas. That's when the seeding was a bit different. I think Dallas is I think Dallas at this point, if this is the way that things break down, like this might have been the worst matchup for the Clippers.
Oh, the
So,
Nuggets would be worst.
sorry?
The Nuggets would be a worst matchup.
I don't even know if the Nuggets would be worse than the Clippers for
Blasphemy.
I think Denver, probably Denver's the only other team I'd be scared of if I was the Mavericks. Because Luka's already eaten the Clippers food for the last few seasons. Like they just can't defend him no matter who they throw on him. And then they've been really hitting a stride here. So I'm gonna go Dallas. I'm gonna go Dallas, Andy.
How many games?
7.
We're both calling the 7.
Yeah, 7-game series.
It will be a good series. I'm excited for it. I
All
mean,
right.
it's not as great of a series as the Cavaliers and Magic, right?
I love that series. I don't know why you're being such a hater. Way more athleticism in that other series, though.
No sex appeal with Cavs Magic. Okay. Let's put a bow on this. Who
Put a
is your
bow on it.
pick to make the finals?
The finals, I have like I hate being this generic, but I think
Uh,
it's gonna be I just think it's gonna be Celtics Denver.
so
Are you gonna
boring.
what do you think? Are you're taking someone else?
That's so boring.
You're going Philly, aren't you? You're going Philly.
Yeah, Philly.
Philly's
Philly.
not making the finals.
Can we see who the best big man is?
Philly's
Embiid,
not making the
Jokic.
finals.
Remember? No, they're making the finals.
Yeah, I
They're
remember.
good.
I remember you called this. You called this. Oh, James Harden's leaving Philly. They're gonna have a way better team. Maxi's gonna go off. I know you called all this. Good job. Good job. I'm just saying, if he was healthy the majority of the season, I feel like this would be a much higher possibility, but it's not.
He's averaged over 30 points since he's been back. He's been great. He looks slimmer.
But
He's
that's
ready
because
for the playoff
that's
run.
because like it doesn't seem like when you get into the playoffs, you know better than most. Teams scheme on you super hard. So it's like I feel like everybody is just going to be throwing the kitchen sink at Joel Embiid playing defense on him. I think it'll be really tough for him to excel the same way he was in the beginning of the season because he's not like he's in game shape obviously, but he's not. I just don't think where he is where he was when he started the season. So I think it'll be more difficult for them to make the finals. But I think I like that pick. I like that. That would be amazing. Jokic versus Embiid in the finals.
They can't dodge each other there. They both got to play these games.
They can't dodge each other. They can't dodge each other. That'd be it. Um, okay. Anything else?
No, that's I think we got it all wrapped up.
We're gonna try to do one podcast a week from now on.
One a week. One per week.
While I have you on here and still recording, are you doing anything this evening? You said no, right?
No, what are you doing?
Well, I was gonna see if you wanted to come play basketball
Play basketball.
from
Where?
8 to 10. You know where?
Where?
I'm not gonna go ahead and put it out there.
If you want to get ran out of the gym, if you want Georgie Niang to be dropping bombs on you, sure.
I'm gonna try to break your ankles tonight. Like actually, actively.
Not possible.
Okay. Anyways, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the Raptors NBA podcast. Make sure to subscribe on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube. See us on social media. Obviously, we have the Instagram, the TikTok. What else do we have, Andy?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Word of mouth is the best advertising. I don't know if you guys knew about word of mouth,
Tell
but
your mom.
yeah, definitely stay in touch. If you have any comments or questions or want us to touch on anything, just comment them below and we'll try to get to them.
Enjoy the playoffs.
Enjoy the playoffs.